So there are 6 components to any healthy relationship. There's actually different kinds of relationships too. There's passive relationship, like the relationship I have with the grass here right now. I'm just standing here, it's just here. We don't have a contract, we don't have an understanding, we're just passive. Then there's the relationship that I have with my friends here. We have an understanding that they're gonna look out for me and I'm gonna look out for them, and we're gonna have good times together and uplift one another. It's like an overarching contract that we have with each other. That principle applies to all relationships. So if you look at your marriage, there's a covenant in your marriage. Maybe that's a strong word for you. There's an overarching promise in your marriage that you make to one another, that you're going to help each other in life, that you have a shared goal and vision for the difference you want to make in the world. Or in less broad terms, you have a shared goal and vision for your children, for the kind of life you want to spend together, for supporting each other and having a happy work experience. That would be an overarching shared goal. And if you just meet someone for the first time and you're making friends, you're exploring what that means with each other. So what that might look like is you go out and you hang out and you find out that they have strengths that you want to grow in, and they find out that you have strengths that they want to grow in. So your contract becomes, we're going to support each other in our strengths. Or it might be you just have fun together. And so the contract is, we're going to have fun. No matter what, we're going to have fun. Or it could be anything like that, but there is always an overarching contract in the relationship. Now that contract or agreement or understanding, whatever you want to call it, leads to the next step in the relationship, which is systems, right? So if system sounds really inhuman, it sounds really improbable, it sounds very rigid, but think about it this way. When you're in a marriage and you have children, you're developing systems so that you can make sure that those children get to school. You're developing systems so that they eat. You're learning how to work together to provide. Or if you're in a friendship, you know that you're going to get together at certain times of the week. Or maybe you have a group of friends that you hang out with. Or maybe you're in a club together and you're learning how to become better public speakers, and you have an understanding that your relationship is around building that skill together. There's always a system. So the system in the last example is, we go to the club, we work together, we talk afterwards, we talk about the areas we want to grow. If we're having fun, the system might be we go to comedy clubs together, or we just hang out and make jokes. But there needs to be regularity to it. Without regularity, the friendship falls apart. Without regularity, the marriage falls apart. Without regularity, the children don't get fed. Without regularity in a business, the business collapses. Without systems that keep that business going, that tell people what their roles are in the business, and keep them attached to the vision and mission of the business, and make sure that that's what's showing up in their product, whatever that is, whether it's a service or a physical product like a widget. Those are all show up in the systems. Now, the huge problem with systems is it's really easy to slip in the system and lose sight of the other person. So people in marriages, for example, wake up one day and go, who is this person next to me? How did I get here? Because they haven't continued to invest in the actual relationship. They got stuck in the system. Businesses, so often get stuck in, well, we're delivering a product, and they lose that sense of connection to the need of their client, or each other, or one another, or the connection to the mission. Like somehow the mission gets lost and the system becomes primary. What happens when the mission gets lost? You need to get back to it, focus on it, re-center on that mission. The mission is about, in a marriage, for example, my wife and I got together because we saw something in each other that neither of us saw when we looked in the mirror. So my wife saw something in me that I didn't even know was there. And when I was in her presence, I felt just so jacked, because I felt like that person she saw me as, someone I never dreamed I could be. That's an amazing thing. Or at work, the overarching idea is that I'm going to evolve at work, and the work is going to evolve with me. We're going to evolve together. Not that different than a marriage when you think about it. And what happens is, when we get jammed up in systems, no one's coaching us. We're not coaching anyone else. We're not talking about where the breakdowns are. We're just in a repetition over and over and over. And the system kills everything else. So getting back on mission in either of those relationships is about getting clear. Why did we get in it? Why did we buy in? What are we doing here? Am I learning and growing? How do I keep learning and growing? How do I support my partner in learning and growing? How do I support the business in learning and growing? How do I support my friend in becoming a better speaker? Am I just telling him what he wants to hear, or am I telling him the truth? All right, so then you're like mad on mission. I'm here for you, baby. I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling it like it is. Maybe that gets a little painful. Maybe I'm a little pained by what they're saying to me. I go to an interview with my boss, a coaching session with my boss, and he says, you know what, Rich? I don't know what's going on with you, but like you're just going through the motions here. Like you're just filling out the paperwork and talking to the customers, and somehow it just isn't working. And so in order for him to deliver that to me, and in order for me to receive it, there needs to be an understanding. I'd like to call it unconditional love. In a marriage, it might be unconditional love. At work, I'm going to call it empathy and concern, because we don't necessarily love each other at work, though that would be a nice and wonderful thing if everyone loved each other at work. But when we deliver these messages of truth, because we want the people that we're in relationship with to be bigger, better, stronger people, when we deliver these messages of truth, we need to do it with concern, with empathy, and in our marriage, certainly with love, and our children with love. And actually, I would even say at work with love, because when you hang out with people enough, there's something comes up that isn't just empathy and concern. In order to do that, we have to be taking care of ourselves, right? If the well is not full, we can't give the water away. So we need to make sure that we're nurturing ourselves. So what does that look like? People get confused about this a lot. The easiest metaphor for this would be that we need to be just like we take care of our cars, right? The oil needs to be changed on our cars. The spark plugs maybe need to be changed, not so much anymore. Tires rotated, air filters changed. We need to be doing that stuff with ourselves. So what that looks like is making sure that we're eating right, making sure that we're exercising, making sure that we have a connection to nature, which is why I'm doing this out here with planes and dogs and kids. Well, we don't have a lot of kids today and things. Connection with nature. There needs to be a network of support, a community. It might be a spiritual community. It might be just people with shared values. You need to have friends that you're talking to. You need to be eating right. You need to be resting, whatever that means to you. It might mean 8 hours a day. It might mean 4 hours if you're Bill Clinton. That guy just didn't need to sleep for some reason. It could be anything like that. Studies show that if you're journaling 4 times a week for 20 minutes, that leads to a higher sense of well-being. Studies show that if you're writing a gratitude list 5 times a week, 5 things 5 times a week, higher sense of well-being. If you're taking care of your body by exercising, eating, I think I might have gone over that. So when I go full circle, that's when we move on. Prayer and meditation, though, let's never forget that. You know, our survival brain is always looking forward and looking back. And it's always asking us, is there danger? Is there danger? Is there danger? Is there danger? Did I do it right? Did I do it right? What possible repercussion of what happened there? It's always chattering to us. Prayer and meditation takes us out of that loop. Prayer and meditation helps us to have a stillness in our mind so that that thing isn't always chattering to us. All right, so we're taking care of ourselves. In order to take care of ourselves, we need to have a strong network of support, not just a community, but people around us who are willing to speak to us the way we need to show up in our primary relationships. People who are willing to shoot us between the eyes if that's what we need, with love and empathy and concern. People who are truly present for us 100%. People who really care and are in it for us. People who are willing to stand with us, people who are willing maybe even to set aside their own families and their own concerns from time to time so that they can be there for us. This isn't just acquaintances. It might be somebody we pay. It might be a therapist. It might be a coach. It might be a mentor. It might be your mom and dad. It might be your wife. It might be somebody at work. But you need people who are strong, who know who you are, who see the best in you, and are willing to stand with you in order to show up with unconditional love for other people. It's almost like you have to have people exemplifying the quality you want to develop in order to keep it and give it away. All right. I think we've made it full circle. So those are the 6 qualities of a relationship. And when we do that, of course, let's just tie it back into the beginning. We've got that relation, that circle around us, that community, church, therapy group, AA, whatever it is. You know, you've got that support group around you, or maybe it's not just one of those things, it's all of those things. you have a contract with them, right? Those relationships are contract based. The contract in a 12-step program is we're going to show up unconditionally for one another because we know that we're going to die if we don't, meaning, you know, drinking and drugging are going to take you to death. The contract in a group therapy setting is we're here to work on the same thing, and I'm not going to pull my punches with you because God willing, I want you to do the same with me, so I'm going to demonstrate the quality that I want. The quality in a church is we're going to worship together, we're going to serve God, and in order to do that, we really need to be present and build community, though I don't see that. In all of these groups, I see exceptions to this. So at the bottom line of that is how you show up is how they'll show up for you. So that's what I have for you on the 6 principles of relationship. These 6 principles are fundamental to any relationship. And if you get jammed up in any area in these 6 principles, the relationship breaks down. So take a look at your relationship and ask yourself, is this the relationship that I want to have? Is this relationship going where I want it to? Am I getting my needs met? Am I helping them meet their needs? Because you know what? It isn't all about us, right? Relationship is about having something bigger that guides you to put that relationship first. Thank you, and if you want to hear more of these, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Go to my website if you're interested in a blog, richinrelationship.com. There's going to be newsletters up there. We're going to change that because newsletters sound so awful. Give me your name and let's stay connected.